this off?
Yeah, kick away.
Okay. Morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here to announce the new website. I just want to say over the past couple of years, the food stamp program has spent a lot of time kind of reinventing ourselves, shifting from a caseworker caseload model to a bank and a customer-focused service and call center where we do as many tasks and calls in a month, over 7,000 tasks and calls in a month. And we answer those calls over 80% of the time within 30 seconds or less. And we're also modernizing our program by shifting the food stamps from a paper-based system to documents. We've imaged all of our cases. Also, over the past couple of years, we've been working a lot with the community-based organizations and faith-based organizations here in San Francisco to leverage their strengths and to find out why people who are eligible for food stamps in San Francisco but not applying for food stamps, what can we do to help them out? And so with the guidance of our community-based partners, we've been able to develop a website that's in English, Chinese, and Spanish. It's available 24/7 where people can apply for food stamps and other benefits. With that, I'd like to turn it over real briefly to Winnie Quay from Wu Yi Children's Services to say a couple words.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Winnie Quay, and I'm the Family Resources Coordinator here at Wu Yi Children's Services. Wu Yi has been connecting families and children in the community for over 30 years. Here at Joy Luck Family Resource Center, we provide family support services to families such as connecting them to childcare. We have on-site free tax preparations. We have financial counseling services. We do legal advice services, as well as benefit screening and much other community resources as well. On behalf of Wu Yi, thank you all for coming here today. And let me introduce you to our Family Services Director, Allison Suzuki. It's a great honor that this year we were selected to be a Human Services Agency food stamp remote site. And through this program, we can connect our families to access this benefit in one single location. And that means a lot to our family because majority of our families that we serve are monolingual Chinese speaking, and some of which they don't feel comfortable traveling beyond Chinatown. And this enable them to come to a place that they trust and they feel familiar with. We had a great partnership with Human Services Agency, I have to say. They are very efficient and very fast. Over the past month, we generate over 30 applications through Benefit SF and conducted webcam interviews. So, but last but not least, I want to thank the City of San Francisco for initiating and develop such a great project. And also by partnering with community-based organizations like us, Wu Yi, to support our families and to build a stronger community. So, thank you.
Thank you, Winnie.
Thank you.
So Dennis, could you just say a couple words, please?
Oh, yes. Good morning. I'm Dennis Stewart. I'm the Regional Director for what we call at the federal level the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, but what's known in California as food stamps. And we are very delighted to be here today to participate in this. An initial grant from USDA started this venture, but frankly, all of the work and the credit go to Leo and Trent and the department here in San Francisco because it represents a real commitment to bring the food stamp program to all of those who are eligible. We are very concerned that in California, slightly over half of the people who are eligible for food stamps are actually participating, and processes like this that allow people to apply in a familiar setting that's very comfortable to them, we hope that will increase the amount of people who are participating. That's not only a benefit for more and more households in today's economy, but there's a tremendous economic stimulus to the city and county of San Francisco because it's all federal money, and for every dollar that comes in through the food stamp program, there's anywhere between $1.70, $1.84 in economic activity. So you can see that this is part of the economic stimulus package, but it's ongoing. So we encourage efforts like this, and I particularly want to thank, since we're here, Winnie and the folks at Wu Yi for really participating in this, because this is the way that we believe that the future of this program will work, and we're glad to see that San Francisco is out front. So thank you all.
Thanks. And Winnie, thank you very much for having us down here. Leo, congratulations, and Trent and the team for all your good work. A number of years back, you may recall, we initiated a different type of strategy in terms of outreach on food stamps. We went down actually to St. Anthony's Dining Room, and I was talking to Trent and the team. I said, why aren't we bringing the food stamps applications out onto the streets? Why are we waiting for people to come indoors to get the application? As was just mentioned, about half of people that are eligible are actually accessing food stamps, which is a remarkable thing when you think about it, because as was stated, it's all federal dollars. These are all free dollars from the perspective of a municipality, from a state. Of course, they're all taxpayer dollars, but nonetheless, these are dollars that can be drawn down with no general fund increase in our state budget or our local budget. We have our own estimates, about the same dollar, about $1.73 we estimate is the return for every dollar invested. About $4.9 million was invested in our food stamp program last year, which means about $8.48 million of economic activity that is derived from this specific program. So the whole idea is to increase the applications, increase the participation in this program. And that's what we started to do, as I mentioned, down at St. Anthony's, when we decided to go out there and do application processes at that site, their specific site around the corner from City Hall. We then began a culturally competent outreach effort by reaching out to the diverse communities of San Francisco, not just here in Chinatown, but we went to the one-stop shops and in the Mission and other parts of the city in order to make sure that people are getting access to this that don't necessarily or not necessarily getting the benefit of the traditional outreach and the traditional media. So again, cultural competency was also a big part and anchor of our strategy. Third, we decided to get innovative. And I remember, what was it, 3 years ago, Trent, 4? With the restaurants. We got an electronic benefits card, an EBT card, one of the first to actually do that. So you don't have an actual stamp. That's why it's good to change the name from food stamps, but we're so used to that language. You're not actually handing out sort of vouchers. You actually have an electronic benefit transfer card that you can use, but you can also use it at restaurants. And we were the first city in the state to do that. So people can go to their I'll say Subway sandwiches, because they were one of the first to actually participate, to their credit. You can get, you can use your food stamps there. You don't, we realize a lot of folks don't have kitchens, so you can go to a grocery store and get a bunch of canned food, but you have no place to cook it. That doesn't necessarily benefit folks. We didn't want them necessarily only go to fast food restaurants because that's not healthy, so we started working with these other restaurants to provide healthier alternatives. And now we're stepping it up with the benefitssf.org website, which takes advantage of technology and twins that technology with the talent of culturally competent community-based services like WUI and other service-based providers throughout our city. And we're connecting to our food banks, we're connecting with our shelters, we're connecting with providers all across the city to provide access and to provide these tools of technology so people can go online and determine their eligibility within moments. Libraries, people can go, and other, of course, access points. We're providing this tool and this opportunity. What is significant about this, and I think goes to a larger effort that is underway in the city that is, I think, going to be well, I don't want to say revolutionary, but I think is going to be a big deal all across this country, is we're now trying to aggregate every conceivable social service that an individual and a family can be afforded and put it all on one site. So, for example, if you're eligible for food stamps, you also may be eligible for our Working Families Tax Credit. If you're eligible for our Working Families Tax Credit, you're eligible for our Bank on San Francisco program. If you're eligible for that, you're probably eligible for our Universal Health Care program. And if you're eligible for that, you're probably eligible for all these other state and federal programs. But the problem is you have state agencies, federal agencies, and local agencies. The local agencies don't even talk to each other. Imagine the state agencies and the federal agencies. If you can aggregate all of that, have one application, fill out the number of dependents, fill out your unique characteristics and status in terms of your income, and then every single form prints out think about what that means in terms of drawing down federal dollars or state dollars to a local government. This site begins that process. We call it a benefits calculator, ultimately. And we're looking to roll this out very soon. And we're working with the Haas Family Foundation and others, Tipping Point Foundation, to actually help fund us in doing this. But this becomes the first online benefits that does more than just food stamps, that actually does print out eligibility for other programs. That's why this is a big deal from my perspective. And that's why we are not only leading the way here, but I think there's 17 counties that you're partnering with, or cities.
They're taking our lead.
That are now looking to this example. So this is exciting. We got $1 million grant from the USDA in 2006. When we got that grant, no one paid much attention, but we knew what it meant, and here we are. And now, ultimately, we will see the benefits of this. 25%. That's the increase in the number of people in the last 12 months that have signed up on our food stamp program. We have 24,000 people now signed up on our food stamp program. We're averaging, 22% or so increase in applications every single month. And what we've discovered, and I'll close with this, is people that are now accessing food stamps are not the people you expect to be accessing food stamps, and that goes to the macroeconomic realities. Folks that were slipping through the cracks, or people that, candidly, are ashamed to access food stamps, that may even know they're eligible but are not willing to go down to the welfare office. That's the benefit of this tool, that you can do this in the privacy of your home. You can do this at a library. You can do this with confidentiality and confidence, that the stigma of getting food stamps, the shame that you actually need them. Remember, even President Obama's mother was briefly on food stamps. It hardly should be something stigmatized or something to be ashamed about. But for working families out there that have just lost their job, or someone in their family's ill and you have to have a caretaker at home, and they're suspending their job, this is a very, very valuable tool. So this is something else I wanted to communicate, and why I think it's timely, and why I'm very, very enthusiastic about what we're doing, once again, trying to lead the way on food stamps. So again, Trent, your team, you guys have been incredible. The cultural competency, again, is second to none. The use of technology is critical. Wi-Fi becomes that much more important, right? Because not everyone has access to online capacity or has these tools that you see here. We'll keep pushing that with our network of networks with Meraki and Fawn, and as you know, hundreds of thousands of people now have access to free Wi-Fi since we started, even after that deal was killed by the Board of Supervisors. We're still moving forward and leading the way of any big city in the country, and I just think this is the future, and it's here now for food stamps, but it's going to be here soon for all other social services and eligibility, federal, state, and local. And this is the modernization that we all need in terms of making sure people are afforded what they are due or what they have earned. So with that, I'll ask Trent to correct anything I may have said that was inaccurate.
How did you know?
Or add on anything that's...
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted, the mayor's not giving himself enough credit, so that's my role. Those of you who have been around here a number of years know that he reads pretty much everything, and I got a report that he read. I had read it too, but I didn't mention it to him. A report about food stamps uptake nationally and statewide, and then they broke it down locally. And big highlighter, underline, saying San Francisco, only less than half of people who are eligible for food stamps were actually getting them. Underline, exclamation point, and a note saying, Trent, we need to do something about this. And this was probably 2004, maybe. And so we did a lot of things. And the mayor, of course, has a great memory, and we did the partnership at St. Anthony's that we called Food Stamp in a Day. We opened up a food stamp office in our Mission district to get more Spanish-speaking families onto food stamps, and we increased that caseload by almost 2,000 families. We certainly did our electronic benefit transfer card as that went statewide, and then the restaurant meal program that's now being replicated in Los Angeles. And this really is, we'll never say the last piece because there's always more to do, but this is really the one that we think will have the biggest bang for our buck. We did a soft launch a few weeks ago. We didn't want to publicize it because we wanted to make sure it was running smoothly. Most of the applications came into the office through the site in off hours, evenings, late at night, real early in the morning, which tells me that folks are too busy during the day to look up the website, and certainly we're too busy to come down to our office. And so once we do start marketing this, we anticipate thousands of applications to come into our office, which, for two reasons is great. It provides more economic stability for families who are struggling, certainly to help them meet their nutritional needs, but it's a huge local economic multiplier. The mayor noted, for every dollar that's spent on food stamps, $1.73 is put back into the local economy. I'm going to correct him just on only one thing.
Good.
The mayor said $4.4 million a year. It's $4.4 million a month.
A month, excuse me.
In food stamp benefits that are being spent. So this is $4.4 million in purchasing power going to our local grocers, into our restaurants.
So it's $8.4 million a month in stimulus.
In economic activity, that's right. And 8 times 12 is 96, so that's $96 million of economic activity a year. And that's just with the current caseload. Once we get the thousands more through this web application, we'll be generating even more. So I want to thank again Dennis Stewart and his leadership at the federal government level, certainly the receipt of the grant. And also pleased that we can lead the way with our 17 other partner counties who are on the same computer platform as us. These are big counties: Alameda, Santa Clara, San Mateo, San Diego, Orange, Contra Costa, representing probably 60% of welfare recipients in California, are taking this as a model, and they're going to replicate that in their counties, and I'm really proud of that. So with that, I think, Mr. Mayor, you're going to apply for benefits.
Am I?
I think you are.
I hope I'm not eligible. Any questions? Let's answer any questions. Yeah. Talk about what else you're eligible for now, as Lake said.
Food stamp rules allow you to use a food stamp application to also apply for Medi-Cal if it's a family with children or a big disability. So we're also receiving, so far during the soft launch, we've received several Medi-Cal applications, and so people are actually applying for Medi-Cal. If they're not eligible for Medi-Cal, those applications are sent over to Healthy San Francisco so they can get on the local program.
School lunch eligibility also is part of this. So there are a lot of components. And Barbara, I think one of the most significant things we should be focused on. I was saying earlier, one of the most significant things we should be focusing on is just, we in a period of declining revenue where you're constrained by budgets, the first place you need to look is participation rates and eligibility, and begin to get points of access so more people can participate for what they're eligible for, and draw down more federal dollars, draw down more state dollars. It's self-evident, isn't it? It's common sense to do that. But we're not talking about millions of dollars. We're not talking about tens of millions. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars that San Franciscans, the most impoverished, working families, folks that are just on the edge, are eligible for in all kinds of programs, but they're not aware of. And so once you can aggregate those eligibility forms, once you can simplify it, and once you can create a point of contact, then you can really start seeing a larger participation rate and these dollars being drawn down in historic levels. And that's really the beginning of what we hope to see with food stamps, at least, and some of these other programs with BenefitSF.org.
So I'm just wondering that about this $1 million, is that the one-time money?
Yes.
How long is it going to?
Yeah, the $1 million funded all the application development work. So all of the technology that supports this was developed using that $1 million.
How much is for run this website?
The run rate for the website is very minimal. It's simply through here a DSL line, a computer. It's a website that links right into our offices and our system, so it doesn't cost anything additional to operate.